hopefully this year. There is no date. I'm hoping for the fall. Oh my god. What do you even do if you're Michael Chandler at this point? Because Chandler has two options the way I see it. So, on one hand, he can continue waiting for this fight that may or may not happen in the hope of getting his red panty night and making a shit ton of money. The other option is to just continue fighting and hopefully within a few fights, he'll have made that same amount of money he would have made for one fight with Conor McGregor. Let's just do a little experiment. So in 2021, Chandler fought 3 times. In 2022, he fought 2 times. So let's just say that Chandler was healthy in 2023. He could have fought 2, maybe 3 times. And then in 2024, he might have been able to fight on UFC 300 or maybe a fight like in May or June. We don't know. But theoretically, since his last fight, he could have fought maybe 2 to 4 times depending on his healthiness level. I don't know the exact details of Michael Chandler's contract, and I don't know if 3 to 4 fights with other people would have been more or equal with one fight with Conor, because I don't know the negotiations for the Conor fight either. But if the fight does not end up happening, that means Michael Chandler could have had 2, 3, 4 fights where he could have made money, which is just gone to waste. So if we had to think of a couple of reasons why this still hasn't happened yet, what would they be? Well, the first one that it could not be is USADA. We remember back then in October of last year, there was all this controversy with USADA, and then Conor's name got thrown into the mix, the whole 6-month thing. Well, USADA is gone, and we do know that the new company has similar protocols for people who are returning when it comes to the 6-month time period. So it cannot be that. And Conor re-entered into the testing pool in October of 2023, and even if that doesn't count because they're not with USADA anymore, if he re-enters it in January, that will still take you to June. My hunch is that this is probably over some sort of pay dispute and negotiations. Now, I know a lot of you who believe that Dustin Poirier was able to strong arm the UFC and make them bend within a few hours. Maybe some of you also believe that Conor can just strong arm the UFC very, very easily. Sorry to tell you, he cannot exactly do that. Even if you're Conor McGregor, you cannot just make the UFC bend and break. I'm assuming that dealing with Michael Chandler here is probably pretty easily. Whatever Michael Chandler makes for this will be probably the highest single fight purse of his career. So I doubt Michael Chandler is the one that's an issue in this. It's most likely Conor trying to negotiate certain things, maybe the location, the fight purse, the weight class. One of my guess is that the UFC probably doesn't really like the 185-pound idea. While it's not like it's going to hurt their pay-per-view sales or bottom line, I think for the UFC, they probably just look at it in the sense of, look, Conor, if you're going to return in any serious way, we want you fighting in a more relevant weight class for you, which is 155 or 170. So I imagine that that is one sticking area that they have at the moment. So there's that. And then we probably also have just the fight purse in general. Conor is probably asking for a couple million. I mean, who knows what it is. The UFC is probably trying to negotiate this. And remember this, while Conor McGregor is still a huge pay-per-view star, and he should still probably be able to hit 1 million pay-per-views regardless of his opponent, although I do think it's probably a little bit less likely now, they probably think, look, you've been out for almost 3 years. We don't believe you're good as you used to be. You're older now. We don't even know if you could beat Chandler in a fight. We don't know how much longer you're going to be around. Yeah, you can definitely help us with some revenues and some sales and some great pay-per-view sales. But at the same time, depending on what you're asking for, we might not be willing to pay that anymore. A couple years ago, yeah, maybe we were willing to pay you that. But now, we might not be willing to fork that out. I also don't know if in the back of their minds, maybe the UFC is kind of like, do we really want to still do the Chandler fight now? Maybe, I know some people are theorizing the Nate Diaz trilogy, which again is a fight I do not give a shit about at all. Give Conor anybody else in the top 10 at welterweight, lightweight, whatever. I have no interest in a Nate Diaz trilogy. Maybe that's in the back of their minds. Hard to say. It is kind of weird because you would think they'd try to get him on the International Fight Week show. But again, the UFC doesn't need Conor as much as they used to. They're doing great. They got a great deal with ESPN. He has not fought that much in the last couple of years, and they've been continuing to get bigger and better. They don't really need him like they used to. At this point, if I'm Michael Chandler, well, the coaching got announced in February 2023. If the fight doesn't happen until the fall, that's going to be more than a year and a half. Would I still wait? I'm kind of split because I still think it's within that time period. If it definitely gets confirmed within the next couple of weeks or a month for the fall, it still could be worth it depending on the payday. If it doesn't get announced after maybe another 2-3 months, just pack it in and keep it moving. Just fight somebody else. Try to get a decent payday, maybe a couple more fights, because you're obviously older now. Just my opinion. You're obviously older now. You only have a little bit of time left. Feel bad for Mike because super nice guy, nice family, and, always puts on really, really fun fights. If anybody deserved this, it was him. It would have been nice to see him get that payday and that opportunity, but it is what it is. Like the video if you end up liking it. Subscribe for more content similar to this. Check out my channel for other content that you may or may not enjoy. We'll see. And leave some comments in the comment section down below if you ended up enjoying this. Catch you guys later. Peace.